some of the worst fire conditions in New South Wales were around Dunedoo in 2017. The massive Sir Ivan fire burnt out more than 55,000 hectares. A Coronial Inquiry is looking not just into the cause and origin of the fire, but how it was handled. Faith in the management of fire services has been shaken, and as Orange-based reporter Joanna Woodburn discovered, the number of volunteer firefighters is dropping.
I've never seen anything like it.
This poor bastard was losing everything other than his house, and he was literally fighting the fire by himself while we drove 5 fire trucks straight past his front door.
It was unprecedented in New South Wales.
In February 2017, New South Wales saw firsthand the catastrophic conditions that can turn a bushfire into a raging inferno. This fire near Dunedoo in the state's central west killed thousands of head of livestock and native animals and damaged scores of properties. But it also damaged the trust between farmers and the organisation that's supposed to protect them, the Rural Fire Service. It's been almost 3 years since the fire tore through here. The scars are still visible.
They obviously got caught here and couldn't go forward and couldn't go back.
Aunt Martin and his son-in-law Damon Soster were among those to lose sheep and almost 3,000 hectares of pasture. 35 kilometres of fencing had to be replaced. The costs have added up.
It's cost us around about $3 million to feed our stock for the last 3 years. And, yeah, look, it's highlighted by the fire.
While waterbombing aircraft attacked the fire, Damon Soster says their plea for help from nearby crews went unanswered.
We were left on our own. There was plenty of incidents when fires jumped containment lines here for us that they weren't there. I don't know who was making the decisions and where we stood in all that. We were just fending for ourselves.
The fire subsequently tore through 55,000 hectares. It stretched 60 kilometres, the width of the Sydney Basin, and even created its own weather storm, sending out lightning strikes ahead of the fire front. Whatever stock could be saved were herded to safety. Damon Soster still has serious concerns about what he perceived to be the lack of help and communication from the RFS 3 years ago.
I know I was in a better position to be on my own with my own equipment, getting to the front of it and trying to stop it getting any bigger, and we achieved that.
Fellow farmer Mitch Lee was one neighbour who answered Damon Soster's call for help.
Come on!
It just was very frustrating for the people that were watching their places burn and seeing all this, millions of dollars of gear just sitting there not able to actually help.
While some crews fought the fire head-on, Mitch Lee says other volunteers were ordered not to fight.
We were constantly running out of water and sort of trying to get filled up, but we thought, well, if they can't help us fight it, well, maybe they can help fill us up with water so we can keep going. But, yeah, they said we can't do that.
The farmers used their own equipment to stop the fire.
So, Joe, this is just a basic firefighting unit that we use that we can pick up with a tractor, put it on the back of the ute if we have a lightning strike or we need to get somewhere pretty quick.
The farmers here don't blame firefighting volunteers. They know they were just following orders. They're disappointed with RFS management, and they're not alone. Landline has heard from a number of RFS personnel who are frustrated and bewildered with how the fire was handled. At the time of the bushfire, Mike Gorman was captain of the Kangaroo Valley RFS. He and his team travelled from the south coast to the fire ground, but were told not to fight.
So rather than engaging the fire, we parked on the corner of Sive and Doherty Drive, where the fire's named after, and the Golden Highway, and sat there for a period of time.
Tensions escalated as the day wore on.
At this stage, a lady came up and banged the side of my truck. I was driving the truck at the time and banged on the driver's door and wanting to speak to me, and her question was, why aren't you helping us? Why aren't you trying to save our properties? Yeah, I was ashamed to be in the RFS on that Sunday. We had just driven all day the previous day to get up there for the purposes of helping, and now we were being made to just sit and watch properties burn.
Mike Gorman has written to the RFS asking why he and his crew were ordered not to fight. He was told it came from management, but he doesn't believe safety was an issue.
If you can't fight a fire when the wind is actually blowing the flames away from you, there will be never a time that you can fight a fire. So we were in as safe a location as it could possibly be. And my other answer to that is that the farmers were fighting the fire all day long.
The Rural Fire Service Commissioner Shane Fitzsimmons declined Landline's request for an interview, but had this to say to Radio National's Background Briefing.
There could be a range of reasons why a crew would be cautioned about getting involved. It could be a safety alert. There could be a concern with a significant wind change. You're talking about a very significant, rapidly unfolding fireground. There could be all manner of reasons why a particular team might have been given a specific direction.
Mike Gorman has his own theory.
The hierarchy of the RFS hit the panic button. It was, I think, the first proper catastrophic day that New South Wales has had, and I think they panicked, and I think that's what led to the decision that I was told about, that there'd be no active firefighting, because it doesn't make any sense to make that sort of decision, and it certainly doesn't make any sense that if you make that decision not to tell people.
This apparent rift between farmers and the RFS is one of the reasons crews say they're losing volunteers.
So our membership went from approximately 90 down to 55, and I know of other brigades that had to do something similar.
There's a big discrepancy between the people who are on the books as members and the people who actually have a regular input into their local bushfire brigade.
Justin Barr is the former group captain at Cumnock in the state's Central West and has been with the RFS since he was 15. His old brigade currently has around 60 members, but fewer than 20 turn up. He says apathy is a big factor.
There have been instances where we've had to go and attend instances with just one in the truck, which is not something you should be doing, but what do? You're alone in the truck, you can't, there's a motor vehicle accident, you've got to try to attend.
Mitch Lee is ready for the next fire, but he won't join the RFS.
After that, if there was a fire here or at a friend's place, the last thing I'd want to do is go into the fire station and then be told I can't do anything.
The Sir Ivan fire at Dunedoo was followed by more ferocious blazes at Tathra on the south coast and the recent fires in northern New South Wales. The bushfire season was early this year, and there's an elevated threat of more and bigger fires, not just for this season, but beyond.
What we've seen since the 1970s in Australia is a significant worsening in the bushfire danger conditions. We're seeing 10 to 20% less rain in southeastern Australia, which is very fire prone. We're seeing higher temperatures, we're seeing stronger winds, and the bushfire danger periods are up to 3 months longer than they used to be in some areas.
Former New South Wales Fire and Rescue Commissioner Greg Mullins says governments need to do more. He says 4 years ago a request for more water-bombing aircraft was made, but the federal government still hasn't committed to the multi-million-dollar investment.
Look, it's pretty sad, the outlook. So the climate's getting hotter, our bushfires are getting worse, the federal government's missing in action. They don't want to know about this because fundamentally I don't think they believe in climate change and they won't talk. So It's up to volunteers on the front line to try and cope.
The farmers on the front line aren't concerned about big picture policy. They want to see better communication and more action when it's needed.
There needs to be someone making decisions like on the ground who can actually see what's happening, make the decisions real time. It's just impossible to make, good decisions from afar.
A coronial inquiry into the Sir Ivan fire at Dunedoo has completed its hearings and is due to deliver its findings in the coming months. Farmers and RFS crews hope it will deliver the answers they've been looking for.
That's something they've got to learn for the future, is in those catastrophic sort of conditions in a fire like that, someone's got to make a call.